This is the Metal Queens podcast. I'm Steve Richards. On this episode of the MQP, Amanda from Eva Under Fire. They are from the Motor City, Detroit, Michigan, and the band consists of Rob and Chris and Ed. And who's the fourth guitarist now? A
So our
drummer.
drummer is the new guy. Yeah, his name's Dave. He's been around. He's been touring with us now for maybe 2 years or so. But he is another one that hails from good old Downriver, Michigan.
Yeah, we love that. The band was named one of the artists to watch in 2023 by Pandora Radio. I'm happy to have Amanda from Eva Under Fire. Welcome to the Metal Queens podcast.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Steve. I appreciate you.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. So you have a bunch of new things happening. Your first album, by the way, the first full length was Love, Drugs, and Misery.
Yeah,
That came out in 2022, but the new album is called Villainous. It's coming out, what, in the spring of 26.
yeah.
Hard to,
Finally,
yeah,
finally.
I can't believe I'm just starting to say 26 now, just so weird.
Isn't that weird? Yeah,
Yeah.
super strange. No, I mean, we love the writing process, but this was definitely more than what we were anticipating. We thought, oh God, we have so many great ideas. We're gonna be able to, bang this album out in 6 months. And a year and a half later, we were still writing and still turning in tracks. But I do think it was well worth the wait. I'm so excited to finally get started with releasing new music. But yes, full album in the spring. It's called Villainous.
All right. We're going to talk about the first track coming up in
Yes,
just a little bit here. But
wonderful.
first, your background, Amanda. So your voice has such a powerful presence. What first inspired you there in Detroit Rock City to pursue music? And how did Eva Under Fire come together as a band?
Oh, we have a very old school story. We're a garage band, still a garage band. Bunch of us that grew up in the Downriver, Detroit area. We were all in different projects, just doing bar gigs, and finally, the guys called me and said, "Hey, we miss writing together. We should try something else." And I said, "Sure," just casually. And we fell back in love with it, and so we were like, "I think we're going to give this one more shot." So since all of us were from different projects, but we've been friends for a long time, we decided to rename the current downriver local musician supergroup as Eva Under Fire. We wanted something that had a name that was really feminine but fierce. I think that was really important, just to kind of characterize, our lineup. And so what really was Eva was a reference, a song reference. But I go out and hang out at the merch booth a lot. So everybody just was asking me, "Is your name Eva? Is your name Eva?" And eventually the short answer was just yes. And so I felt like for all of like album one, it was just like a crown that I wore from the listeners that would come up to the merch booth and be so excited to meet all of us, which was super rad. Um, but this album became a lot more about finding our own identity um, and so I wanted people to know my real name, and I wrote a song called My Own Name, and it's going to be one of the singles on this next album. So it's really about who we truly are, where we really came from, what we've really learned about the music industry. It is a blessing and a curse. It's a true grind, which we're not opposed to because most Detroiters know how to grind.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's kind of where it all came to be. But we grew up playing music and then just wound up being able to actually do it professionally for real.
Parents, siblings really supportive of your music career?
Gosh, yeah, so much so. I mean, so many of our I believe like Dave's grown up drumming was also just, I mean, since he was a little guy, was like going to hang out with his buddies and they were all jamming together. Um, I don't know. I don't remember if he said that his dad was musical, but a lot of our parents all listened to like, 80s metal, right? My
Yeah.
mom, I would come home from school, my mom's like got Metallica blasting as she's like vacuuming the living room, So like, my dad was, a guy that loved rock music, would take me to my first concerts with my mom, would come to my concerts as a kid. I was always singing. So he bought me my first microphone at Mike Carey Music, which is how I started meeting all of my band family, so to speak. So yeah, we've got Detroit roots. My husband, who's also the lead guitar, Rob, is a guy whose dad bought him his first guitar, um, much to the chagrin of his mom, who later became a big supporter, but she's like, "Isn't that a little loud?" And he basically just told her, "At least I didn't buy him a drum kit." So there's that.
So it's in your DNA. It sounds like it's in all of your DNA, pretty much.
1000%.
Y-
1000%. I mean, blue collar loves rock and metal, and we
Yeah.
are all downriver rats. Like I've even talked to, like, even the first conversation I ever had with Jacoby from Papa Roach. He was like, "So where are you guys from?" I was, Detroit, Michigan. And he goes, "Oh, we love playing Michigan. I mean, anywhere in the Midwest, they show up in droves. Like some of the best metal concerts ever still happen in like Southeast Michigan, in the Midwest area in general."
Mm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. You mentioned Detroit grind. I saw a quote from you. You said something about Detroit grit. Growing up there, how has the city also influenced your sound or just your outlook as a rock band?
I mean, even before this project, so when I first started in rock music, I wasn't confident that my voice could hang. I was
Mm.
more like, I grew up with 90s pop, but I never had that range. And so I started trying to sing along to a lot of male vocalists. And some of the earliest ones that I found were like Stained and Killswitch and Breaking Benjamin. And,
Yeah.
and then I started to listen to I was part of the new metal era with like Korn and Limp Bizkit. And here's these like, you know, super heavy sounds. And it wasn't like 80s music was talking about, girls, girls, girls. And this was much darker. And I felt really akin to that. Um, but I didn't hear a woman do it that felt like my generation until Evanescence, right?
Mm.
And so once they came on the scene, I was like, I have to go. So my very first Evanescence show was Harpo's in Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and I still have that concert t-shirt because it was like a big, like, you know, coming into my own type of feeling. Um, but I mean, so I'm from Lincoln Park, and I mean, it's just stone's throw from the city border. So they wouldn't let us kids play in the bars. So we had, like, thankfully at that time, there was a lot of access to like real venues because they would all throw these massive local showcase type shows. They put like 15 of us on the bill and like tell all of us kids to like bring our friends, right? So my very first show ever was St. Andrew's Hall
Oh,
upstairs,
yeah. Yeah.
which was
Great
wild,
venue.
right?
Great venue.
Yeah, so cool, right? So I mean, and then later on I would go on to play the Shelter and different other things. And there's just such a different energy when you play to just like those smaller venues. I mean, St. Andrews is massive. I mean, that's a great size venue. I think it's like a 1,500 cap room or something. But like the Shelter and stuff like that, like that's where I got my first taste, right? And then as we got a little bit older and we started to be able to play in more different types of venues, we would look for stuff like that, anywhere, dive bars. Um, we had some downriver local venues that were important to us that were kind of like similar rooms. So I think it was just that kind of energy. When you say you want to go to work and you want to play and you get the opportunity to play out like that, especially in rock music, like you have to go play. You have to go play shows. Like that's how you get a hardcore following and how you like test yourself, your skills, go experience it, play any dive bar that'll have you. I don't care how much beer got spilled on the monitors. Like, that's where you learn. That's the proving ground.
As I was listening to your music all day today, you sound a lot like I hear a Lizzie Hale influence big time in you.
Oh, thank you.
I
Yeah, no,
really
she's
do.
great.
Yeah.
She's fantastic. I mean, I knew from a young age that I had a big voice and that I loved to sing. I didn't know that it could do all the things that I would later learn how to do because I love rock music. I grew up on Metallica, but it very much felt like my parents' music. And so what I started to sing to was darker new metal stuff. And the ones that you want to try to keep up with are Lizzie Hale and Amy Lee,
Yeah.
you know? And then I got to open for them both. at Soaring Eagle Casino. Lizzie Hale steps out on stage to sing Separate Ways with us, and Amy Lee steps in to take a selfie with us after the show. I'm just, that was the moment for me. I'm like, the whole spot could blow up tomorrow and I'd be fine because I
That
have
had to
that
be
picture.
surreal for you.
It was wild. It
Yeah.
was that is a full circle moment for me.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Amy Lee, by far, number one influence here on the Metal Queens podcast. She is in first place alone when I asked
Yeah.
that. So,
Yeah.
um, all right, let's talk new music here. I mentioned the new album coming out. It's coming out in the spring of 26, Villainous. The
Yes.
first track is going to be a track called Awakening. What's the story behind that? And what is your songwriting process like in this band?
It's varied, truly varied. It has also grown and changed over time. So we used to get in a room and play, and that was it. And we would, somebody would come up with a guitar lick, and maybe the riff starts off, and then I kind of piggyback off of that, start vibing on some verse vocals. But as we've kind of continued to work within the professional space, I really love being isolated in the studio. You can hear everything with so like unmatched clarity, right? Um, I don't have any instrumental talent though, so I'll just vibe to a metronome and bring it to Chris and Rob, and we'll figure it out. Sometimes I bring it to the producer that we're working with, and we figure it out. And the guys are all in the room going, "Oh yeah, now we can do that, and build off of here." So it usually is either starts with a vocal or it starts with a guitar. Um, and then, with the album that we ended up writing, I mentioned before that new metal has this very heavy, honest tone that's like a little darker, a little serious. That speaks to me. And, the guys too, right? I mean, if you're in a band, you love playing heavy, right?
Yeah.
So we got into the studio in LA and we were working with John London and he did this like down-tuned riff and we went, oh, we got to work with that. And that kind of set the tone. Um, I think in some ways, lyrically and thematically, we've gone back to our roots because it was a lot darker and a lot heavier when we were releasing independently. Um, Blow did great things for the band. It was just a take your brain out and have fun with it thing, right? Which I kind of leaned into, and that was a bit of an experiment for me. Um, but I think on this album, there's no cheeky tone about it. This is us finding out who we are and been proven through a lot of rough times. And I think some of the right many artists would say that the best stuff has come out of their darkest times. Um, and since writing album one, we've been through a global pandemic and then some, literally.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've seen some things at this point. So when we talk about the opening track, the first track, Awakening, um, I mean, it's got some heavy bounce, but I love it because of what it says about not allowing the darkness to overtake you, right? It's really me standing there and screaming at the world going, I'm still here, right? And screaming at the clouds, literally, like that's, I'm pretty sure in the chorus lines,
Mm.
screaming that demons couldn't take me. And I think it is, like how Hailstorm had their back from the dead moment, right? Like they felt like they were coming back from so much chaos. And I think Awakening is that for Eva Under Fire.
Did I read that you're a therapist too?
Yeah, that's
How
me.
how does that help you when it comes to songwriting?
Oh, I think songwriting is my therapy, 1000%. I mean, I'm a therapist that also has a therapist, but I feel like I'm very attuned with my emotions, and I think putting those things poetically into the songs has always been a cathartic experience for me. So songwriting is definitely my therapy. I love being able to sit with people in their own, space of need and work with them on finding out how they live their best life. Um, because songwriting is definitely a part of how I live my best life.
By the way, Amanda has a badass killer version cover of War Pigs, R.I.P. Ozzy.
Yeah.
You just crushed that song.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah,
That was that. I mean, it matters even so much more to me now than I ever knew it could based on everything that just happened, right?
yeah,
Like losing Ozzy in that way, having like personal friends of ours attend that Back to the Beginning show. I felt like we were all at his like living funeral, which is so bizarre, right? But
yeah,
so impactful. In what an iconic way for an iconic person to leave this world, right?
yeah,
What a legacy. Um, and so, I mean, I had just started resharing stuff online because we were taking so long in the writing process that I was just like, we can't just go away. We we can't just, you know. So I said, well, a lot of this is still new to a lot of other people. They've not heard of our band. They don't know what we do. They don't know our story. And so I just kept resharing some stuff that we had recorded. And the one thing that took off was War Pigs.
yeah.
And Geezer gave us a shout out on it, which was so crazy to like
Mm.
be like, oh, Geezer Butler said this is a great version of War Pigs. What is my life? You know, crazy. And then, you know, but then shortly after that was the Back to the Beginning show. And and so I just now it becomes this tribute that takes on a whole new meaning, um, and holds a whole new space in our hearts. So thank you for that. I
Yeah, and
appreciate you.
check that version out. It's great. Her version of it, of War Pigs. Amanda, what was the goal going into this? You always hear about sophomore book, sophomore season for an athlete,
Yeah,
sophomore full-length album, the pressure.
yeah,
Did you feel pressure going into this album?
not at all, not at all. We knew collectively, like, and we had talked about it at length. Like this was Van Talk 101. Was we have to go back to what is authentically us. That is just we live and we die on that hill. We'll see what happens with it, but I think most times when I listen to music, I want to feel it. And that's what helps me be 100% in on any song, right? And I wanted that for Eva Under Fire fans. I wanted that for people to who hear our music to know that we mean what we say, to feel like they know us a little bit better after listening to it, and that they can relate to us on a human level. It's not just take your brain out fun anymore. You know,
Yeah.
we wanted it to be real, and so we knew we had to go back to that space, which is, you know, as we talk through in like mental health and in therapy, like getting too real sometimes freaks people out, and it's hard to do. So I think in that way it was a little intimidating, but we 1,000% like knew our path.
Streaming culture dominating the music scene now. How is your approach to connecting with fans changed?
I don't know that it has. I don't know that it has because we know that when people connect to the music, it's going to do what it needs to with whatever format that is. So I think in some way, the only thing that I plan to change is just massively uploading every time I can with our music attached, right? And like see how it goes because you know, these algorithms, it's like you have so many followers and that really doesn't matter. Everything is new. And the algorithm says it's popular, it will go to a whole new audience and it
Yeah.
won't even touch half of your follower list, which is so stupid. But,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I didn't write the algorithm, so I just know that um we write from the heart and we post it a million times a day and we see who's in, you know?
And then the algorithm changes.
Yeah, right. Which is
Always.
why I'm not stressed, right? Like I'm
Right.
not trying to chase this because there's no way. I mean, I think, you know, also the algorithm rewards covers. It
Yeah.
just does, right? So like it was special to me um that it was Ozzy's voice, that it was War Pigs that did that for us. Um, but I don't anticipate that that's going to happen with everything, especially not my original stuff. I mean, because our original stuff people don't know yet. And so it's really going to have to make a great first impression. But I'll tell you what, we handpicked Awakening to do exactly that.
Mm.
So I trust. I trust in whatever the universe holds for us next.
Well, the metal universe right now, I was just reading an article yesterday in terms of streaming numbers. It was an article that talked about Ozzy and the passing of Ozzy, but it also interviewed Ghost and talked about the streaming numbers with metal right now are huge. I was just at Incarceration 2 weekends ago. I was at Summer of Loud this past Sunday, packed crowds, all-time records.
Yeah.
It's in a good place right now. Really
Yeah,
good
I
place.
believe it. We went to Summer of Loud at Pine Knob. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was.
And Kill Switch was awesome.
Oh, they were one after the other. Just awesome.
Good. Beartooth, I think, crushed it too.
Oh
So
yeah.
good.
They're on fire now. But it is. I mean, the genre is right now. It's a good time. And good time to be coming out with a new album and new
Hey,
singles.
hey, let's see. Sometimes the stars align.
Yeah. All right. So we get the new single coming out. That'll be out in the fall, right?
Yes.
Awakening.
Yes.
And then the album next spring. So I always follow that up with any touring plans for later in the fall and into the winter and spring.
Yeah, of course, of course. So, Awakening is out October 17th. That will coordinate with some dates. We're going back to our roots with the boys in Buck Cherry.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we got a
Nice.
run coming up with Buck Cherry, which is awesome. We've kept in touch with Francis, their drummer, over the years, and it was just so surreal because the last time, even Francis was telling me, he says, we'll be excited to play with you guys in real venues because when we first got together with them, we had never toured before. They were the first band to take us out. It was June of 2021, and we were just doing whatever we could because COVID was weird,
Right.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it was like such weird so we went out with those guys when it was like still frontier land, basically. So this will be a really cool full circle other moment to go back and tour with our friends that gave us our shot.
All right. We're going to wrap up here with 5 questions for Amanda from Eva Under Fire. First off, your favorite drink?
Cold coffee.
Cold coffee. All right. Favorite food?
Mexican food, anything Mexican food. Probably a botana with a side of rice, but like I probably shouldn't do that all the time.
Great Mexican town, by the way, in Detroit, near downtown.
Exactly.
I ate at plenty of restaurants there. Yeah, love that. If you were, I think I know the answer to this because we talked about it, but if you weren't in music, what would you be doing?
I'll give you an answer that I feel like most people don't know. I loved springboard diving when I was in high school, so like
Oh,
maybe an Olympian if I could. I mean that would be a totally different path, but I love both things that I currently do, which is if I wasn't a musician, I am also a therapist.
yeah. Favorite curse word?
I don't all of them? I don't know. I mean, I try not to in so many spaces because I just try to get away from it, but if I'm really upset, it's definitely dropping the F bomb.
Dream collaboration. Now, you've collaborated with a bunch of artists already, but what would be your dream collaboration?
Dream collab. I mean, obviously, if I can have Amy Lee and Lizzie Hale on a track, that's A-list for days, right?
Yeah.
I would also love to have a Halsey feature because that's just killer.
Mm,
Um, and I recently tried sliding into Youngblood's DMs. Not gonna lie.
mm.
Go big or go home.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Amanda from Eva Under Fire, new single Awakening coming out October 17th. New album is coming out next spring. Follow them
Yes.
on socials for updates on tour dates too coming. She just mentioned Buck Cherry. They'll be out with Buck Cherry.
Yeah.
So all
Right there in the fall time. Yeah, keep posted on the website because once we get going, this train ain't stopping anytime soon. So I'm sure we'll be seeing you out there quickly.
all right. Well, thanks for joining me here on the Metal Queens podcast. Rock on.
Much love.
Amanda from
Thanks, Lefty.
Eva Under Fire. And this is the Metal Queens podcast. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. Thanks for watching. I'm Steve Richards.